Broncos country, what is going on, man? It is a great time to be a Bronco fan as the Broncos get the dub last night against the Packers. They absolutely dominated them. We don't really care too much about the score, but they did win 27-2. And Bo Nix looked great again, and it looks like we got our franchise quarterback. But are we overhyping him too much? Are we setting improper expectations? We will dive into that because I think it is important as a Broncos fan base to maybe temper expectations a little bit. Before that, guys, before we get into it, it's your first time on the channel. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Watch some of my other videos. Check them out. If you love Denver sports and if you love fantasy football, I think you're really going to love the content on this channel. So hit that subscribe button, like the videos. It'll really help out the channel. So let's get into it, guys. Obviously, we've gone through a whole off season. I've been on the Bo Nix train well before the draft. Really, really wanting him. Loved the fit. Loved a lot about it. And as the offseason program began and as training camp approached, he's just gotten better and better, right? We get into game action. He looked great in his first game. He looks even better yesterday against the Packers. So there's a lot to be excited about. He looks in control. He looks in command. It looks like it's a wonderful fit for Sean Payton in this offense. But it seems like collectively we might be getting a little bit of ahead of ourselves as a Broncos fan base. And it's natural, right? We've been starved for this. We've been waiting for this for so many years. And it finally feels like we have our guy. But is it unfair for us as fans and as for Bo Nix and the Broncos as a whole to place these crazy kind of expectations? People are thinking he's going to be CJ Stroud and we're going to make the playoffs right off the bat. And we certainly can. We certainly can be a playoff team. But I think it's important, guys, to kind of take a step back a little bit and realize a couple of things. First of all, he is still a rookie, right? There's going to be some growing pains. If he comes out against Seattle week one, if he's named the starter and he doesn't look good or he throws a couple of interceptions, we can't panic and we can't not expect that those things are not going to happen. He's yet to really go up against consistent, first team NFL defenses that are throwing different looks and different kinks in their arsenal towards him. And especially at the beginning of the year, when you don't have much film to review and you don't have a lot of expectations, as a quarterback and as an offense to game plan against, there's going to be some hiccups. It's natural. So those are the things that we have to be prepared for and be okay with happening because the growth throughout the season is what the ultimate key is. And it's a look into the future, not necessarily just a look into this year. Another thing is, too, guys, is that I think throughout all of Bo Nix's career, he's gotten it's not his whole career. I'm sorry. In college, in his last season, I think he only had like 6 sacks or something. He was not hit a lot. Got the ball out of his hands quickly, which is great. But what's going to happen in those games where he's taking shots, right? Where he's really getting clocked and getting his bell rung a little bit? How is he going to respond, right? I think he's tough. I think he's somebody that can absolutely respond well. But I'm curious to see how that's going to look, right? Because you see it a lot of the times, the quarterback, all of a sudden they start seeing ghosts. All of a sudden they start getting the happy feet. So what's that going to look like with Bo? Because we haven't seen that, right? What's it going to look like when, defenses are throwing different looks and the look changes and then he has to kind of improvise. He's got Pro Bowl pass pressures coming at him. So there's going to be a lot of that, a lot of those things that we have to take a look at. He takes a shot, it hurts. He's playing through pain. Those are kind of some things that you cannot see in practice that I'm curious. What's he going to look like when the game's on the line, right? When you're down 4, you need a touchdown, you got 2 minutes left. How is he going to respond? I think all the things that we've seen so far could be leading to positivity, but it's important to kind of keep that into effect that there are going to be growing pains. There are going to be times where he looks like a rookie. There's going to be some frustrations, and we got to be okay with it. And it's about how he responds. How is he going to respond to that first interception that he throws or that first fumble that he has, right? How's he going to bounce back? So those are the things that I'm really curious about, that I'm really looking forward to seeing throughout the course of the season. And I think maybe we're getting ahead of ourselves, maybe just a little bit. And it's not a bad thing, but it's important to just take everything in stride, right? Understanding that this last performance against the Packers was against the backups. That's okay to understand that. But to use that against your argument for why he's not going to be good is also not correct either, right? But two things can be true at once. He can only play the opponents that are on the other side of him, and his responsibility is to look good doing that, and he's done just that. And so we take it in stride. He's passed the eye test twice. He's passed a lot of the tests that have been thrown at him so far, and how is he going to build on that? What's it going to look like in Seattle? And what's it going to be like moving forward? So I really think it should be a week to week evaluation, an opponent to opponent evaluation. And that's what I think I'm looking forward to the most. Not sitting there and saying, oh, we're going to be a playoff team this year. We're going to make some noise. That'll all be great. But it really is a 1 week at a time more than ever. That's always such a cliche type of a response, but it is more true than ever now in Broncos country as we evaluate this, and also the team around him. Right? How's he going to respond if some of the running backs go down, or if a starting tackle's out and he's got now Matt Pert or Alec Pelcheski starting on the ends as a tackle, right? How is that going to affect the game plan, and how is he going to respond to that? What if Sutton gets hurt for a couple games, or maybe Tim Patrick goes down? How is he going to feel throwing to guys like Marvin Mims or Troy Franklin or Josh Reynolds? So there's a lot at stake. There's a lot of layers to it. But ultimately, guys, I think we should be very optimistic. We should be happy as Bronco fans, but we shouldn't get too ahead of ourselves. Just enjoy the ride. Let's enjoy this together because it looks like we finally have a promising young quarterback that is ready to take over for this franchise. Hopefully for the next decade plus. So let me know what y'all think. Is this all overhyped, or should we just have the craziest expectations and let everything ride? But I'm curious you guys' thoughts, and it's just a little bit of a message there. Another thing, guys, just some things to look forward to later today or maybe tomorrow morning. I'll have a video about my 53-man roster prediction. I think that there's a lot of layers. There's a lot of um, guys that we can have in and out of the roster. And I'm going to be fascinated to see how it ends up getting built out. So look forward to that. Otherwise, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Monday. Go Broncos, as always, man. Mile high salute and spend time with those people that you love the most. All right. And until next time, peace